Hello world! Hello to the people of the world! Hello to those who are on this side! Hello to those who are on the other side! Hello to those who are upside, and hello to those who are downside! Hello to those who are not sure what side they are on!
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello security! Hello police! Hello murderers! After the courts acquitted the cop who murdered Trayvon Martin in 2012, and they again acquitted another killer cop, this time the murder of Michael Browne, without even indicting him. They even acquitted the cop who murdered Eric Garner, the father of 6 children. America has demonstrated that anybody who doesn't pay the tax on cigarettes deserves to be dead, and that there is no such thing as injustice or racism in this country, and everyone is entitled to equal rights. Do you have any doubts about it? Everything is safe here and is in its own place, and everybody's happy. Don't be causing such a fuss over nothing. Rightly said. And in addition to these events, the shooting chain in Virginia a few days ago that killed 4. All this is happening while, according to official statistics, in 2013 alone, more than 12,000 people in America have lost their lives in shooting incidents. And police have said that the risk of young black Americans dying is 21 times greater than that of whites. And 2/3 of teens who are the target of police fatal shootings are of black skin. Damn, man, are you kidding? All these fatalities? Is this a war? No, I'm not even kidding. Perhaps it's counted as one of the population control policies.
I don't quite see how you cherish the memory of the dead by killing another million.
And after all this killing in this repetitive story, the United Nations Committee Against Torture has finally announced that they are concerned about police violence and their use of excessive force, especially against those who belong to a particular racial or ethnic group. Don't tire yourself, UN. You should have waited for more Americans to taste bullets before announcing your concern. But the story is not over yet, and we unfortunately have to await the next chapters currently in writing all over America. Hello to the civilized nation, the land of the 3 pyramids, and the home of the pharaohs. Hey, Egyptians, hear and behold, but let others hear and behold as well. The great pharaoh was acquitted?
What the hell did you just say?
Was the pharaoh even convicted that he was now acquitted? Yes, I mean this pharaoh. In the century of democracy and human rights, the great pharaoh Hosni Mubarak was acquitted. The courts have acquitted Mubarak from charges related to the murder of hundreds of protesters during the 2011 revolution, which removed the dictator from power. They also acquitted 8 of his close officials from charges of the murder of approximately 800 protesters during the revolution. This is while human rights groups say that during the Egyptian military crackdown against pro-Morsi demonstrators, over 400 people were killed and over 22,000 were arrested. Additionally, around 200 were sentenced to death, and just recently, 188 student protesters were also put on death row. Oh man, where do we have to go to get some justice around here? I'll tell you where you have to go. You have to go to the court which is under the rule of Mubarak's ex-general, Mr. El-Sisi. that would obviously be the best place to go.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Hello to the evergreen grass of the world. Stay with us to see what is going on in the European political league. A few months ago, after the European Parliament was conquered by those who opposed the Union, the collapse of the world's largest integrated economic bloc began. Saying goodbye to the United States of Europe should be the main result of the European parliamentary elections, which was held a few months ago in 28 member states of the Union. An election in which the biggest winners were parties and groups which had fundamental differences with the very philosophy of the Union and demanded more rights for the member states, wanting to turn the Union into simply a symbolic gathering.
This is the only parliament the world's ever invented where you cannot initiate legislation, propose legislation, or even the repeal of legislation. All of that comes from the unelected European Commission.
And now, senior officials from this country, meaning Great Britain, have warned that if their demands are not met by Brussels, they will separate themselves from the Union.
Get off my lawn.
The threat these days is much stronger, where the British Prime Minister has made an official announcement warning that if the EU doesn't cut immigration to Great Britain, then holding a referendum on their European membership will soon be on the agenda.
But thank you for last Sunday, thank you for appearing on British television, thank you for confirming that the real fantasist isn't you, it's David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, who pretends that we can restrict free movement and remain members of the European Union. You made it clear that he was wrong, he was deceiving the British people, and you made it clear that you were the boss and not him. And for that, I thank you and wish you a very happy retirement indeed.
David Cameron, Prime Minister of Great Britain, promised that if re-elected next year, he will put the issue of staying or leaving the European Union to a referendum in 2017.
What we need in Britain is a renegotiation of our relationship with the European Union and then a referendum where the British people decide, do we stay in this reformed organisation or do we leave it? Now that's what I will pursue, that's what I will deliver. And at the heart of that renegotiation we need to address people's concerns about immigration.
Meanwhile, the Italians and French, just like the other EU countries, are dealing with rising unemployment and economic depression, but have expressed their outrage against German Chancellor Angela Merkel's request for them to amend their budgets in line with the rules and regulations of the Union, saying, rather than preaching others, Merkel should focus on the economic turmoil in her own country. And because Angela should be in control of the world, just like the rest of her colleagues, she has announced, after careful review and expert analysis, that Putin is the destabilizing factor in Europe. Elsewhere around Europe, Catalan separatist protests and sheep protests were held in Spain. In Greece, the same old protests continued, and the anniversary of the murder of Alexandros Grigopoulos was marked. To Belgium, where strikes have brought Brussels to a standstill, where railway and aviation services have been shut down. Well, perhaps the situation in this green grass, I mean the European Union, is not as evergreen as I thought. But now, let us check out the best of the world. The transformation of the world. France. François Hollande, before and after the French presidency. The no comment of the world. The crybaby of the world. Israel, which has threatened France and England due to their recognition of the Palestinian state.
I recommend you stop being such a faggot.